Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Captain Muffin here, and today we are going to be flying the world's shortest international flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, pretty surprisingly, the shortest international flight is not done with a smaller turboprop plane, but it is rather flown with the 777, which is why we are here today in the Air France 777. So, as you might have guessed, this route is flown by Air France. The flight distance is only 16 miles, and usually it only takes 12 to 15 minutes. So for today's video, we're going to be trying to beat that time and see if we're able to do it faster or if it's going to take longer in the flight simulator. The flight is from Brazzaville in Republic of the Congo to Kinshasa in Democratic Republic of the Congo. So these two cities are the capitals of their respective countries, and they're right across from each other. They're only separated by a river, which is the border of the two countries. So the route is from Paris to Brazzaville, and then Brazzaville to Kinshasa, and then back to Paris on the last leg of the flight. So we're going to be doing the middle leg, which should only take about 12 to 15 minutes. I'm not sure if that's just air time or total time needed, but anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to go into the cockpit and put in the flight plan so that we're ready to head out of this airport. And let's see how fast we can complete this flight. So let's take a look at our flight plan today. So I know it's a bit difficult to see on here, but what I believe we're going to do, we're going to take off here from Brazzaville on runway 23, and then we're going to take a right-hand turn this way, and then we're going to head up. And then we're going to take another right-hand turn. We're going to turn right again, and then we're going to make kind of like the infinity looking sign. So we're going to go here, and then we're going to go across from here, and we're going to loop back around until we've lost enough altitude to where we're able to land here at runway 24. So it might take a little more time than the 12 to 15 minutes because we do have to do this whole loop thing that takes us back onto the approach, but I think it still should be relatively short. So I've made it out to the runway and I'm nearly ready to take off. So a few things I'm going to do. Let's turn on the landing lights. The taxi lights can come off, the strobe lights can come on. And I'm also going to start the clock so that way we can count how many minutes this flight will take. So let's go ahead and get off the parking brake and roll onto the runway, and I'm going to go ahead and start the clock now. I'm not sure why the runways here in Brazzaville have the X's on them. Normally that means the runway is not in use, but that's like the only runway at this airport, so it's not really making too much sense to me. Maybe that's just a Microsoft Flight Simulator error. Anyways, I've rolled onto the runway a bit fast. I'm going to just go straight to Togo. And there we go. Rotate. I'm a bit late there. Positive rate of climb, the gear goes up, and we begin our flight. So our cruising altitude, I guess you can call it cruising altitude, is going to be flaps are going to go up. It's going to be the low altitude of 5,000 feet. So we're going to head up to there, and then in a few minutes we're going to already be starting our descent. So it looks like we're going to be continuing at 5,000 feet until this waypoint, okay? That's kind of funny. And then we're going to make the loop, and then we're going to descend down to 3,500 feet. So here we are crossing the river that separates the two countries. So those white spots that we can see in the scenery, I think those are clouds that were captured when they used the satellite imaging. I feel like I don't really see those in other parts of the world when I play flight sim, but I mean, places like this, like in the Congo and the center of Africa, I would expect them. I mean, it's not good that they're not as detailed and not as well done, but it seems like that's the case. To say the scenery looks pretty bad here. Hopefully the scenery in less visited areas will be improved in the upcoming Flight Sim 2024. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So at this stage we can already see the runway at the top over there, but we're not going to be landing on this approach. Do a bit of a loop and then come back around after we lost some altitude and some speed. Looks like we're gonna be a bit late compared to the 15 minutes that we were hoping for. I think in real life they don't do the whole loop back around. I think they just go straight for it. They probably fly at pretty low altitude. They probably keep it at like 3,500 feet for the whole flight. But I'd be really interested to see what the real flight is like. It looks like the localizer's taken over here. LNAV has been disengaged. Now we can start our final approach into Kinshasa. I'll disengage the autopilot at about 500 feet. And autopilot disengaged. Let's try to butter the landing here. Let's finish off this very short flight. Flare. Alright, that was a decent landing. I mean, it was a bit rough. But it got the job done. Alright, I'll go ahead and stop the clock now. 20 minutes of flight time, a bit longer than expected. Still a very fast flight. Does not take very long. I don't think you'll find any other 777 flights that last 20 minutes.